Hi, everybody. It's Dennis, the Active Trend Trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out three top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number two, an analysis of the indexes showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, one, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I have a quick question for you. Are you tired of inconsistent trading results? I know we all run up against that wall occasionally. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end of today's session because I'm going to provide you three actions you can take immediately to start being a more consistent trader. But before we get there, I want to introduce our folks. Basically, we've got Steve Ferreira here in Hawaii. We got Anil Parikh in Delaware. Guys, welcome. We're going to do something a little bit different today. After the intro, I'm going to jump immediately into our stock picks. So if you want to say good morning. Good morning, Anil.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Good morning. Likewise. Great to be here.
And then I want to give a shout out to Anil's Delaware IBD group, dynamite presentation last night. I was blown away by all three presenters. Anil was one of them. Raj was another one. And then a gentleman that was talking about space stuff. And I was going, oh man, it was like Buck Roger time. I thought that was fantastic. And so, again, I'm Dennis Wilburn. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options plus Trading Tips. Got some really great trading tips for you today. Like I said, stay tuned to the end. You will get some good tips. If it's the first time joining us on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I do post new tutorials. And also when I do post the midweek market update called On the Radar. If you want to maximize your profits, minimize your losses, active trend trading is a proven, clear, and simple system. I was doing some analysis this past weekend, and the active trend trading, since I went public with the active trend trading system 10 years ago, we have beaten the S&P every year for 10 years significantly. I'll be sharing some information about that in a future session. But we're focused on helping you trade your way to for wealth and freedom. There's my goals for the year. I want to save you time. If I can help you get to 5 to 7 trades every week without you having to do all your own analysis, that much the better. Basically, it makes it easy to then put in your condition order so you can fire and forget. As I said, we're going to do a market review, but we're going to shift the order up a little bit and jump immediately into the stock review. Somebody, if I get towards the end and I forget the tips for today, somebody, yank my chain and say, hey, Dennis, you forgot the tips. I will try not to. So let's go ahead and jump over to Anil has got, Anil, I'm going to let you go first since you are since you've got a tight time frame. And Teradyne, what is Teradyne do? I know I'm familiar with them, but this is your pick for this week. Tell us about it.
That's the pick, and as I usually say, I just go through my system and send it to you at midnight. So I have not researched the company, but my system triggered a buy signal on the weekly chart. And hence I sent it to you.
Okay.
And I think it's dipped a little bit today. And I would say you can buy it right here, right now.
Okay. It is a company that supplier of automation equipment for test and industrial applications out of North Reading, Massachusetts. So you're looking to buy it right now. Does it bother you that the momentum is topping out? Or are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, what's your stop loss?
Stop loss would be about 5%.
Okay, 5%. So let's take a real quick peek at that. Where is 5% from? And I'm gonna take the 5% from about where it's at right now. If you bought it right now.
Yeah.
5% would be, that's looking good. It's slightly below the breakout area and actually below the 8-day moving average. So excellent trade. The other thing I like about this one, Anil, is it does not have weekly options, but it's got okay open interest, especially on the near month, November 19th. So good looking trade.
Yeah, I'm picking up based on the signal that I get on the system,
right?
As well as the comp rating is 97, accumulation distribution B plus, and up down volume ratio 1.4. So the system says go.
Okay, excellent. I know that since I have started using the not the up down, but the accumulation distribution rating every week on my picks, my picks have gotten a lot better. So, I give credit to Anil for that because he turned me on to the AC, the accumulation distribution, and then also to Eric Gallup. I think Eric's online today for helping me get to where I could do a better job of pyramiding into trades. And if you missed our presentation on, we were doing our options this past week on the BAM, but I'm going to have a video out in the very near future about pyramiding. You're not going to want to miss it. So that's Anil's. Now, Steve has WHD. I was going to say Whirlpool? No. Cactus Inc.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Okay, yeah, and it's deteriorated a little bit from when I picked it this morning. So I've got a very similar stock in the same space called FANG, FANG, that I would prefer. It was between the two. I chose WHD, but I think FANG is holding up better. So can we switch to that? It's in the very same. It's in the very same space. It's an energy play. Energy has been undergoing a nice move the last 2 months or so.
Yeah.
And I think it's paused, and I think we're poised for a resumption in the trend. I see that price action both on the weekly and the daily chart here in FANG particularly is we're about ready to break out.
Yeah.
I like the trade right here, right now. I wouldn't wait for Monday.
Right now. Stop loss?
The big bar 4 days ago, the low under there.
Okay. So that's about a 7% stop loss. So that's within reason.
Yeah.
And it also would take you back below the 20-day moving average. Those are always good places to look at, placing your particular stops. And mine is pretty simple, guys. I'm going to throw a curveball at the whole thing. And this may be totally out of line, but I'm going to throw a trade because the market is doing so well. There are entities out there that are weak. Here's one of those. Twilio.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm looking at, I am not coming at Twilio to buy it. I'm coming at Twilio to basically get some kind of a downside trade on this, and this could be one of two things. I can throw on we had a gap down after earnings. We've come up into the midsection of the gap, which tends to be a fairly strong level of resistance. Let me get my pin out here. The other thing about this is, so the midsection of the gap is a strong level of resistance. Isn't it interesting how this trend line that was projected down, it broke out and then came back down, had earnings, failed. Now we're right back up to it. I find that, that happens more often than you would think, but it's kind of running out of gas where it's at. Fell down to what? Past support, getting a run up. We're running into resistance. And what I'd like to see before I do anything, I could lay a bear put spread on it right now. That's a debit spread. And I'd go with like the 305 by $300 one. I could pick it up for about $2. That's out how far? Out around the 19th. Give it a couple of weeks to work out and project down to the downside. Or I could wait until I take out the low of the high day, which was yesterday, to plan a trade from there. Let me go back here. And so the low of the high day is right there. And the low of that day is 305.89, 305.89. If we break that, then we're probably going to fall all the way back down here. But I like this, like I said, I like this to the downside. I may be totally wrong on it. I may be totally wrong on it, but it is at an area where it basically should run into resistance. It appears to be running into resistance. And then Eric asked the question, do we have a bullish Harami on the weekly chart? Yes. At this point, it appears like we do, but we're still in the lower level of that big, huge bearish engulfing pattern from a week ago, from last week. And what are we doing? We're eating up and we're below the moving averages. And so I've got a green light to take a trade to the upside. Not worried about filling the gap. Normally, Barry, that's a great question, but we basically have filled about half the gap. That's where we should run into the strongest piece of the resistance. And so there's a lot of things, like I said, there's a lot of clues that are coming together right there. And again, I'm not going to bet the farm on it, but I would be looking at doing a small trade on it. In other words, what's a small trade? Probably 5 contracts. I could pick up 5 contracts for about $2. That would be the bear put spread for about $2. And then and I would sell that when it got to $3.25. I would put a 50% stop loss on that. On the flip side of that, not worried about filling a gap. And so, and like I said, it has, and it is. Is it going to fill the gap on here? It probably will at some point. So I can sell bear calls to Mark. Yeah, if I wanted to generate cash flow that time. So that's my pick today, guys.
It's looking good.
A little bit of a curveball, I realize.
Yeah, it's different, but it's good.
And the other thing about this is if it is easy to borrow, what does that mean? It means that basically up here in the Thinkorswim platform, when it says ETB, that means easy to borrow. It means they have shares available where you could actually sell the shares in a regular short type of situation. I would rather not do that. I would rather do something with the options. And so that's what I'm looking at, gentlemen.
I think it's a good location. You're right or wrong very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. And so what will tell me, if I'm, right, if I take out the low here at the 306 level, if I take out the low of yesterday's candlestick, that should give me a trajectory to go all the way back down to here. But again, we're in a downtrend. That's a nasty gap down after earnings. They didn't like it. We've rallied back up to where we should find resistance, and we have now. And we'll see what happens from there. Okay, that's what I've got there. So Anil, when you need to bug out, go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing this first. I need to attend another Zoom that was scheduled a long time ago.
Okay. And
All
so
right.
let's,
See you next week.
okay. Thank you, my friend. And we'll be chat. Hopefully, let's chat first part of next week about your the changes and modifications to your system, the triple.
Sure, and we'll send you a link also, and we'll talk about it because it's
Okay.
it's
So I
doing
should
a good job.
Am I going to get that from Ghana?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, guys, if you don't know precisely what signal is yours and how you will size and manage your position, guess what? Stop trading. So many traders, oftentimes either through lack of understanding and or sometimes you just get sloppy and you say, you know what, I've got this thing wired, and they'll jump into positions just haphazardly. And that's a good way to get your face ripped off. Stop giving your money to other traders because you're not prepared. That's the other side of, not the other side. That is what this slide is saying. So always remember, all the materials we do present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Here's where we're sitting as of last week. We're up about 27%. Beaten the S&P by 5.73. And here we are today. We're pushing 30%. Again, my target every year is 40%. And so 40% at current pace, I think that we will make that. I think I'm going to hit actually closer to 45 or 50% for the year with the active trend trading and the system and the services we provide through autopilot trading. So let's take a look at the indexes themselves. I'm a little bit out of sync now also, but we'll go SPY. And I got a question for you. Just leave a note. I've switched over to this big yellow cursor. Is it easier for you to see? Hey, Warren. Just drop me a note. Just let me know if it is. Yes, easier. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So what do we got going on with the S&P? Basically, we have things climbing up. Now, we are way extended. So am I going to trade this to the downside? No, I am not. I am going to wait. Now, if I get a signal, basically I like to get trades that do one of these things where it goes like this. It goes down, retest, fail here, and then drop down. It's that second, it's the second step entry to be looking for. Right now, I'll be looking at if we move up. Let me get rid of that. Oops. What is that? Oh, that's the eraser. Okay, if I move down, I'm actually, where am I likely to move? Somewhere between that breakout area and, and where we are right now. There is a small level of support about there. So what is the price on that? And so approximately, you could get a pullback down to 458, about $10. And I'd look for a reversal there to push back up. Again, I'm bullish on the indexes, but I need a pullback in order to get into a trade. So that's what we've got going on that. We do have some, at least on the TSI on the weekly chart, some negative divergence going on. And that's one thing to remember with negative divergence. We can push higher in price, even though momentum is slacking off. And so that's why we trade the price action. Price is king. We use the indicators as secondary or additional clues as to what we want to do. So that's the spiders. Qs. What's going on with the Qs? Qs, similar type situation. We've pushed up. And when I say extended away from, what I'm talking about is price action is way extended away from its primary moving average, which I think is the 20 to 21. And as you can see, it's a long way away from that. So it's some sort of a pullback into towards the breakout area or towards the 20-day moving average is appropriate. The other thing we can do on this is just throw on a real quick fib. And I'll just throw in a real quick fib. Let's take the, there's a couple of ways you can take the fib. One, we have the breakout there. We can take the fib from this low, or we can take it from this low. I'm going to go ahead and take it from this low here. And there we go. And I'll do this, put this in backwards so you'll get a projection up to the upside. And again, where is it likely to fall? Isn't it interesting? Right down, the 50 is there. The 618 or the 38% retracement would be right at about the breakout area. So I kind of like the Qs if they break back down to about the 383, 384 level and then watch it for where is our TSI going to be at that point? Where's momentum and the market forecast going to be at that point? And if we then get a reversal pattern there, I would look for a bounce to move higher from that particular level. Right now, all we're getting is I'm slowing down to rest type of thing with the Qs. And so that's what I've got on the Qs. What's the last one we've got here? IWM. Now, IWM has done its breakout. Now, it is also extended away from the moving averages. Now, there is a reversion to the mean is something to be looking for and needing. We can take a couple of things. One, we've got a potential pullback to the past highs. That's where we broke out here. And I think that also corresponds. Let me just take one quick look here, folks. I'm going to grab that. It gives this is kind of an upper level. So that is kind of interesting. This upper line is the high for the year. And so any kind of a pullback down towards that, look for that to happen. We've gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of up 6, 7 days in a row, making a new high for the year. And that's very positive for IWM. And Russell, I think that now that the Fed has come out and said exactly how they're going to be doing the tapering, that may be, in fact, be good for stocks, because Jerome Powell is approaching tapering with what appears to be a very well thought out plan. I mean, I never thought I would say that, but I'm going to say it looks like it's a very well thought out plan of how they're going to do it. And they're not just taking it, taking the buying of treasuries and debt off the table. They're going to kind of try to wean us off of it. Now, all we got to do is make sure Janet Yellen never speaks again, because she thinks printing money will result in lower inflation. But that's another story that we're not going to get into right now. But anyway, Steve, that's what I've got going on. Steve, what do you think?
I agree. The market is extended, but it can stay extended for a while. It can roll over very quickly. I can see the scenario you painted out very clearly. Is the likely scenario.
Okay. Any questions from anybody? Yeah. Questions?
Go, David.
Yeah. Just no, I won't say that. I don't want to get recorded. I was gonna say, well, we could print our own money, but that's illegal. But printing worthless money. Anyway, again, don't get me started. So that's what we've got going, folks. And now let's see if we can land this airplane and call it a day. Again, well, one of the things I wanted to remember to share with you. Okay, here are. let's go ahead and get over to, hey, just a real quick heads up. If you're not an Autopilot Trading member, you need to be. Basically, Autopilot Trading Service provides 7 picks every week with where I'm going to enter, where I'm going to exit, and they're based on 5 top growth stocks, and the leveraged ETFs includes the 3 index ETFs and 4 strong sectors. Here's an example of how that works. In the middle of that, I tell you, this is where this is the trade I'm going to do, and I put in the conditional order to do that. I show you how to put in that conditional order. And so a really good deal, a little bit less than $85 a month, but it's paid yearly, or you can debate it in 3 monthly payments of $333. So now back to what I was talking about earlier. If you are tired of inconsistent trading, here are 3 tips where you can take action on right now that will basically help you become a more consistently profitable trader. 1, start with a plan on every trade and have the plan based on a proven system that has an edge. In other words, what's an edge? I want to have an edge in my win-loss ratio, and I want to have an edge in, showing that it has an expectancy of, I like my expectancy to be somewhere about, at least $2 to $1. In other words, if I risk $1, I'm risking it so I can make 2. So that was number 1. Number 2 is wait for the momentum shift. If you find yourself getting into trades too early, or that, and then they basically go against you really quickly, a lot of times that is because 1, the momentum has not shifted, and therefore you are just being whipped around by regular price action. So in other words, you're in the meat grinder portion of that. And number 3 action to take is learn how to use conditional orders so that you can place your orders, walk away, and be able to sleep at night because you know that you're protected. One, you've got your order in to buy, but then you also have your orders in to sell, both to protect capital and projection of at the projected level of potential profits. So those are my 3 items. Steve, you have anything that you'd like to add about how to be more consistent?
I think just work on staying with your rules. Have your defined rules and process, and stay with them.
Roger that.
That's the measure of success, and not the money you make on the trade.
I agree.
How well you follow your process is how you gauge what you're doing, I think.
Cool. And get a routine. And I would encourage everybody, if you have not done this as an exercise, over the weekend, sit down, write out what your trading routine is. And then if you want to share it with me, I'll be glad to take a look at your routine. A weekly routine, a daily routine, and even a quarterly and a yearly routine, because it will help you become more consistent. So that's all we've got for today. I'll voice my appreciation for Anil. He's not here, but he'll get the recording. Steve, always a pleasure. And everybody else, thank you so much for being here today. I want to let you know, if you're joining us for these live sessions, I appreciate the heck of you taking some time out. Please share what we're doing with other traders, because I think we're doing some very valuable stuff. But hopefully you think we're doing some very valuable stuff that's worth sharing. So 2021, consistent and disciplined wealth building. Keep growing the egg. Here's how you can reach me. Premium members will be back at the top of the hour with the final hour. And so with that, aloha, trade well, and prosper. Remember, if you're on the mainland, please set you fall back in the mainland. And for those of us here in Hawaii, we will enjoy an extra hour's sleep next week because Now the market, instead of opening at 3:30 in the morning, will open at 4:30. So Mark and Steve, what do you do with that extra hour of sleep?
I have no idea.
Okay. So aloha. God bless everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Take care.